brain? You don't do stuff like this. I can't even words. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Nevermoor, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. So Morrigan is known as a cursed child. She's not only blamed for anything and everything that goes wrong in her town, she's also cursed to die on Eventide, which is supposed to be on her 12th birthday. But before this can happen, she is whisked away by this man named Jupiter North, and he takes her to Nevermoor, which is this place that's magical and wonderful and everything that her home isn't. People are accepting of her, and she wants to stay in Nevermoor. Thing is, the only way to do so is by becoming part of the Wondrous Society. And to join the Wondrous Society, you have to participate in 4 trials. These trials will help to eliminate these hundreds of candidates that come to join the Wondrous Society. So this is Morrigan's story of going through these trials in the hopes of joining the Wondrous Society. So I really love the characters in these books. Morrigan is great. She is blunt and brilliant. She has this sarcastic humor that I can't get enough of. And she's level-headed and the voice of reason when she's with her friend Hawthorne. Hawthorne is a dragon rider. He's a prankster. He loves anything and everything odd. He's hilarious, and I love their friendship. And then we have Jack, who's Jupiter's nephew. He comes to visit every once in a while, and at first you don't really like Jack at all. At least Morgan doesn't, so you don't feel inclined to either. But as you get to know him, he becomes more and more likable. Probably my 2 favorite characters, though, were Jupiter and Fenestra. Jupiter is hilarious and outgoing and bizarre in the best of ways. He's unique and fun and silly, and there's no one else really like him. The closest person I can think of would be like Willy Wonka. So he's that kind of just out there, amazing person, and I loved him so much. There was also Fenestra, who's also one of my favorite characters. You'll see her on the cover here. She is a giant cat. Technically, she's a Magnificat. She's just so grumpy and cranky and blunt and doesn't give a crap about anyone and anything. I was just living for her comments because they were hilarious. Jupiter and Fenestra were so hilarious. I was rolling on the floor laughing at these two. They just have the best comments, the greatest humor. I loved the humor in this book so much, especially with these two. Jupiter, Fenestra, and Morrigan made this book. They were hilarious, and I absolutely loved them. I also really loved the trials. They were so fun and unique and surprising, and they were unpredictable, and I love that about them. There are also quite a few things I didn't like. For example, Morrigan's father. I didn't like him in the slightest. He just made these offhand comments that were so hurtful to Morrigan. At one point, I thought, did her father even love her, or did that evaporate the moment he found out she was cursed? I felt like he was so heartless towards Morrigan, and that was just so hurtful. So her stepmother, Ivy, she was just a brat. I hated that people blamed Morrigan for their problems. Someone literally admits that they left an oven on, and that's why this place caught on fire. But then they said, but I also looked at Morrigan in the eyes, and because she's a cursed child, it's her fault. And guess who got blamed? Morrigan. So I didn't like that aspect. That just was really irritating to me. And then the character Noelle, she was just mean and rude and stuck up, and I did not like her at all. This is just another thing that I didn't really like. There was a bonus chapter in this book, and usually I'm all for bonus chapters, but it just added nothing to the story. It was like a deleted scene that you watch in a movie and you go, yeah, I'm glad they cut that out. That was unnecessary. I just didn't understand why it was included in the end of the book. If you're adding bonus content, I just feel like it should be relevant. So I'm going to jump into my spoiler section now. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, jump to right here. Alright, let's get into it. I just could not believe that Morgan's stepmother would announce that she's pregnant on the night that Morgan is dying. Make Morgan feel like she's being replaced? That's just wonderful. What was she thinking? Do you have no compassion? And then in the flashback, where we saw that Ivy had measured Morgan for her coffin while she was still alive, who does that? Does she even have a brain? You don't do stuff like this. I can't even words. It was just really irritating that someone would do something like that. So in the chase trial, when Morgan goes back and saves Cadence, but then Cadence is the one who presses the target first, it made me so mad. I was like, I can't believe Morgan wins after everything and still doesn't win. She was just so gypped, and it made me so mad. Thankfully, things worked out, but I was so angry at that part. I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, if anyone else feels the same way about this book, let me know in the comments. But before we figure out who the Wondersmith is, I was not scared by him in the slightest. I was like, why is he scary? I sort of wish that I'd been more scared of him, because then I would have seen why people were so terrified of this person, instead of kind of just like rolling my eyes at every time that he was mentioned. I was so shocked when we found out that Mr. Jones was Ezra Squall, and Ezra Squall was the Wondersmith. I did not see that coming. I knew something was off about Mr. Jones, but I didn't expect him to be the freaking Wondersmith. But then when he basically kidnaps Morgan and tells her she's a Wondersmith, I was so confused at that point. I was like, what does that even mean? Then when he threatens her family, basically tears her home apart and surrounds her family in fire, and they are oblivious to this, and she can't do anything about it. I was like, this guy is messed up. And he was only doing this so that she would agree to become his apprentice. And I'm so glad she doesn't, because, he's just a messed up dude. And I would not want to be anywhere near this guy. I was so confused about what it meant to be a Wondersmith. From what we've seen in a majority of the book, the Wondersmith's a bad guy, does bad things. So it makes sense that Morrigan's like, am I evil? What does being a Wondersmith mean? And I love how Jupiter explains it to her. He says, Wondersmiths were wish granters and protectors. They used their powers to bring good things to the world. Wondersmith doesn't mean monster or murderer. Squall made it those things. He did something unforgivable. He betrayed his people, his city, abused his power. He made Wondersmith a dark and terrible word. But it wasn't always. You can change its meaning again, Mog. I really like how he explains this to her and makes the reader see that she's actually really powerful and basically has magic that most people don't. That if she learns to control it correctly, that she can be great, and really expresses to her that she's not evil. And I really enjoyed that. So my favorite quote was also by Jupiter, and he says, Death is boring. Life is so much more fun. Things happen in life all the time. Unexpected things. Things you couldn't possibly expect because they're so very unexpected. He's just hilarious and great, and I absolutely love this book. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was an extremely creative story that was so unique and kept me on my toes the whole time. I love that it leaves you wanting more, and by the end of this book you realize that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and I can't wait for where this adventure takes us. If you've read Nevermoor, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the love. I'll see you next time. Bye!